Meet Joshua Kirk, orchestral conductor, musical trailblazer and champion of emerging talent. Joshua is a dynamic force in New Zealand's classical music scene, blending youthful energy with exceptional artistry. Training in Europe at a prestigious conducting school, Joshua is not only leading ensembles but also nurturing the next generation of musicians with passion and purpose. Today, Joshua joins us to share his journey, insights, and the transformative power of music. Prepare to be inspired by a conversation that resonates with harmony, leadership, and the pursuit of one's true calling. Joshua Kirk, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's so great to have you. You know, you and I met a few years ago. I think it was 2023 when I look back on my notes, and it was through my involvement as being a judge for the North Harbour Club. And you had applied for a grant because the North Harbour Club is all about youth and excellent in their fields of art and innovation and music and what else? Education, sport, and all the rest. And you applied, and I still remember sitting there in the interview going, this guy's really cool. Like, what a cool profession to be going after, and how often do you ever get to meet a conductor? So you and I have been in conversation because you're not living in New Zealand, so I'm so thankful that you gave me a little snippet of your time being back in New Zealand. So you entered and won, I think that was the second amount of money from the North Harbour Club, because you won a Emerging Talent as well, and then you won a Special Judges Award for $10,000, and I know this opened up lots of opportunities for you internationally, and so I think that's quite a nice place to start, is tell me what you're doing.
Okay, so I left New Zealand maybe 20 months ago, and I took my money and I packed my bags and I headed overseas, and I spent maybe 6 months, I think, before any auditions for music schools or anything had started, and I just went to the Salzburg Festspiele, the Salzburg massive music festival, and I snuck into some rehearsals that they didn't know about, and I went to loads of concerts and made use of all the discounts because I was under 27 at the time, and just sharpened my ears up, basically. And I went to loads of rehearsals in Germany. I've seen the Berlin Philharmonic 5 times, 3 in their hall, and just it's a whole nother world compared to New Zealand, where we've got 2 professional orchestras in the country. Full-time professional orchestras in the country, and in Bremen, the first town that I moved to in Germany, there's 2 in the town. So it's just a different place. It's alive over there. Classical music in my field,
I can imagine,
is alive over there. So that's where I started, and I spent some time just traveling around. My mother was over for a bit, and we went to lots of concerts, and I travelled to meet teachers, potential teachers, and look at some music schools.
Like conducting school
Exactly,
teachers.
exactly. So that was something that I was able to do because I had a little bit of extra cash, and that was great. And I can see it's really easy to see what I got out of that when I compare myself to some of the experiences my colleagues have had. I've got a lot more life experience in certain ways. And then in the start of 2024, I started auditioning, and I actually only ended up doing 2 auditions, and the second one was at the Hochschule für Musik Franz Liszt Weimar. Yeah, I know. My German's come a long way. The Franz Liszt School of Music in Weimar, which was, I think, I look back on the Ameswood video, it was one of the 3 that I'd kind of
said that you really wanted to go to.
I really set my sights on it. So that was a great piece of fortune, and I had just had a good day good day at the office during the audition. Yeah.
But you talk about an audition, but as a conductor, how do you audition? What does that
involve? I'm really glad you asked me that.
Because I can't even imagine.
So actually, if you're really dedicated, there's now on German the German, it's called ARD Mediatek. It's like their TVNZ on demand or something like this. You can watch my whole audition process. They filmed it and they put it up there. And it's all in German, so I don't know how that will go. But I'm there with my New Zealand accent talking about a few things. And you can see a little bit of the behind the scenes. But for those who don't want to trek through that, there's a few rounds. The first thing I did was I had to send off videos. And in Germany, this is a big process. And you have to post things via snail mail because... it's just that's the thing you have to do.
What do you put them on a CD or a stick or?
Actually, now the videos are online, but everything else, my CV went in, my letter of references, this kind of thing, in a big envelope, and you post it, and you hope that nothing goes wrong, and this kind of thing. And they liked, I think they liked my videos. They invited me to audition, and I turn up on I think it was the 30th of May last year, and round one is. I needed to prepare Beethoven Fifth Symphony, Debussy 12-minute piece, and Stravinsky short little work. And you turn up and they have some students, current students, playing the piano, and they say, go. Which ones do you want to do? Go.
So you have some musicians
There's
there.
Some musicians.
And that's who you conduct.
Yep. So it's not silent the first round,
right.
which is very nice. That's always hard. So you conduct... It's weird because pianos and an orchestra are not quite the same, but it works. And I really enjoyed that audition actually because the two professors asked me a lot of questions about what my aspirations were and what I'd been doing with myself since I got to Europe, and they quite liked some of the answers I gave about going to see art galleries in Paris and the Impressionism, and then connecting that to the piece, the Debussy piece I was conducting. So. That was that. So it's a combination of testing your musicianship and your conducting ability and also who you are as a person and this kind of thing.
Oh, I can imagine. It's the whole package,
it is,
right?
Yeah.
And that your skill is the conducting, but it's also your knowledge and
exactly.
Your ability to be personable
exactly.
and all of those sorts of things, which I know that you all... completely have. So I'm glad they saw it too. And then obviously you got accepted.
There were a few more rounds involving more conducting and some piano playing and some singing and some reading German poetry. That was not so flash for me. Yeah, it was hard. It wasn't good. I practiced for a long time for that. But I passed. They liked me. And I think I was one of 5 they took out of 70 applicants or something.
Wow, from all around the world.
Yep.
And the only New Zealander?
Yes, I have the world record for the distance to travel home in that conducting class, apparently. So,
awesome. Yep. And where were the other 4 from?
One is a guy, he is originally from China, but he's been living in Germany for a number of years. Another guy is from the Netherlands, so around the corner. And there was an Italian woman. And then the last one, I believe he grew up in Berlin, but he's originally from Spain. So 3 Europeans... One from Asia. One Asia
and you from New Zealand. Oh, that's amazing. That's really great. Great story. And let's go right back. Was music a big part of your life growing up?
Sure was. So my grandmother was a music teacher, my mum's mother. So growing up, I remember she had just a massive collection of violins the professionals play on what's called a full-size violin, and then they go down 3/4, halves, 1/4, 1/16.
I do know that.
Yeah. Some of them, they sound like mosquitoes if you get really that small. So I think I started on an 1/8 for a very short time and then up to a 1/4 and then a half. So that was always around. My mother's 2 older sisters were in quite a good string quartet, and they studied in Germany a number of years ago. So music was around...
all the time.
Kind of, yeah. And my family definitely had they're very encouraging, of course, and they had a really a very good idea of the reality of the situation if you want to study music, which is quite important, I think.
I always think, just on a side note, I always think if you're really into music, it's such a hard competitive environment to be someone in.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
It is. At the end of the day, for me especially, there's only one person standing on the podium at the end of the day for an orchestra. There's no...
No, exactly. You're right.
Really.
Centre, yeah.
And in that sense, it's a shame.
Some of that, yeah.
In another sense, I mean, it's a hard thing, and you've got to be good at it, and you've got to work hard to get there. So,
it's a bit like being the rock star at the front singer of a band, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really you, and the rest is part of the show.
So that's tricky, and of course there's luck involved, but the harder you work, the luckier you get. There's the saying.
There's a nice theme.
Everyone says, yeah. And then after, so that was right at the beginning.
Right, really
and then
young.
I had piano lessons from age 6 for years, and probably until I finished high school, I think. And then violin, and then I played the euphonium for a few years.
What's a euphonium?
A euphonium? It's kind of like a small tuba, and it's mostly in concert bands and brass bands. Yeah. So that was a nice change. That was something a bit different. And really useful for a conductor to be able to play a number of different instruments, have an appreciation
I can imagine of
you
the
need
different...
to know how wind instruments breathe and how string players use the bow, and
And little did you know, learning all those instruments was going to be...
Couldn't have told you.
Amazing, hey?
No. And so I finished high school and I started studying violin at university, and it wasn't bad, but one of the electives we could take was conducting. And it was a choice between conducting or music education, which was at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning. And so...
you went, no.
I kind of had an idea that conducting might be fun, but that was made a bit easier with that choice.
So was that single decision of taking an elective in conducting that you went, hey?
Maybe.
I
don't know. Then... I was starting to conduct, and then I started playing in some orchestras where I kind of went, something's wrong here. The conductor is making me feel not fantastic as a person, as a musician.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was this other side as well where I thought, I think I could do this better, or at least I could do it and people would have more fun.
Yeah.
And at the time, and kind of still, that was really important for me. So I don't know if that was arrogance or naivety or whatever it was, but that kind of combination. And then at some point I had a few friends who knew some people who were leaving a group they were conducting, and they were looking for a replacement. So I started with a concert band out in East Auckland.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, a university student orchestra were looking for someone, and I just started, and they said, "Do you want to have a go?" And yes, okay.
Do you want to have a go?
Pretty much. Yeah. The actual story was the guy who was supposed to do it got another job, and he was sitting next to me when he found out, and he said, "Oh, I can't do this anymore. Do you want to do it?" And I said,
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was really good. And then a year later, there was another one, and then I used all the videos I took from these concerts to apply for a school in Adelaide in Australia. And I did kind of a last year of a bachelor's in conducting there over the course of COVID, like the fourth year of the honours year of a bachelor's. And that kind of was where I swapped from a violin and viola player to a conductor.
You made the decision.
And that was a tough call, because it's there's a lot of jobs for violin and
I was
orchestra.
just about to say you were choosing that piece of the pie or this tiny
But I was better at it.
Yeah, amazing.
I could tell
Good
that.
on you.
And I felt much more comfortable with it, and it was the right fit.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty clear. So.
It's quite amazing, isn't it, when you look at your that word journey from when you were little and musical family and being taught.
Yep.
And then getting those opportunities and making a choice. How, when you look back, you go, it's amazing how that path just was laid out almost like serendipitous, and a bit of synchronicity of things actually happening. And then for you, was it something just clicked and you went, actually...
Kind of. It's one of these funny... If I thought about it, if I went back and thought, what would I do differently to prepare myself to be a conductor earlier... There's not so many things I could have changed, because I studied a lot of, or played a lot of different instruments. I was quite involved in extracurricular things at school. I sang in the show, which was completely weird for me at the time, but it was great. And then I joined the choir off the back of that, and it's a great skill to have.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn so much, and we can talk about this later. I didn't learn so much music inside and out when I was 9 or 10 or something, because I didn't want to, which is, so if I'd tried, I wouldn't have wanted to do it anymore. I don't know. But I was missing maybe a little bit of background knowledge on Mahler scores or something, but I had developed my abilities in different areas. So
And I always find it fascinating because I get a lot of clients sending me their children saying, can you talk to my 20-year-old who's at university and hating what they're doing,
Sure.
or
Yep.
Johnny who's 14 and aiming to go nowhere. And I think it's so special when you find that interest of something that really sparks that enthusiasm within you at a young age that you can continue through. And you were given that opportunity and you had the environment and the platform. But I also see a lot of people who don't get that environment or the platform, so then they're just aimlessly, and they don't help themselves, so then they just go, well, there's nothing here for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I kind of got lucky in the sense that I was sort of nearing the end of high school going, well, I don't really know what I want to do at university a little bit. The only thing I did know was that my favourite kind of experience that I had was these orchestra camps. We have these week-long orchestra camps that I think I did 3 times with the Auckland Philharmonic down the road.
Yeah.
And that was every summer, and that was just the best thing. And it was the combination of the social aspect with people my age, and also we were kind of working towards a artistic goal.
Yeah.
There was progress being made, and that is a really good feeling when you do that. And I knew that the orchestra was my favourite thing, and that's why I studied violin, not anything else, because I wanted to stay within the orchestra world. So I kind of just, that's my thing. I like that. I don't quite know what's going to happen here, but I want to stick in this kind of area.
Nice. And I think that's what a lot of people miss. A lot of younger people, when they're forming their thoughts about what they want to do, they miss those kind of opportunities. So I'm really interested in, you have an orchestra. How many people in an orchestra?
At chamber orchestra, maybe 30, but honestly, it can be over 100 if you're doing really big pieces. Plus choir, we're talking hundreds. So, yeah.
And I can imagine, you can tell me this, that when you have, 70 people.
Yes.
And they're all in front of you, and you can tell me what your role is, but I presume it's getting them to all sync together.
Yes.
It must feel amazing when you feel that energy and that flow and that.
It sure does. Yeah, it's exactly that. That's a great word. The flow experience. It's the neurons in the brain are all firing or something, and everything. When it works, it's great, and it feels like you're using a lot of your capacity somehow. You're not just kind of cruising along. There's a lot of information you're getting in.
So tell me how it works, because I don't think there'd be many people listening to this who go, in a simple, very layman, you look and you see someone going like this and you go, oh yeah, well they know the music, so why don't they just play?
Great, exactly.
So tell me how it works.
The very first thing, the most obvious one is you've got 90 people, as you say, or 70 people.
Yep.
How do you start? How do you physically, you do say go? Yeah. And they just
3,
know it?
2, 1.
I mean, maybe after 10 seconds they could figure it out, but someone's got to hear something or see something first to start. And so it developed, the role of the conductor developed very naturally. Originally, if we go back to Bach or even earlier, there weren't always conductors, and sometimes it was the keyboard player or sometimes it was the first violin. Really, they never did. But then as the symphony and the complexity of music developed, there are a few people that kind of went, this is getting pretty tricky. I think we need someone to kind of focus things. I don't say control, because that's not what it is.
Lead.
And you're not making it. But somehow just take all the loose threads and pull them together a little bit. One of them, Berlioz is his name, he's a famous composer, Hector Berlioz. So originally they actually used to conduct facing the audience because they were very vain at the time. Crazy stuff. Nothing to do with collaboration. It's all showing
it's
off.
All rock star. Look at me. Look at me.
And often it was their own music. So but it's things have changed since then. Yeah. So now they conduct together with the players, and that's basically the thing that the place I would start. So if you've got an orchestra, it's made up of violins, violas, cellos, double bass, maybe a harp. Those are the strings. And they start playing by using their arms and their bow in a cross movement or something, but it involves a preparation. You have to put it on the string, or at least near the string, or something like that. For winds and brass, it's completely different. Flutes, oboes, clarinets, bassoons, French horns, trumpets. There's differences there, but they're basically involved with breathing. and they have to set their mouth muscles, and they have to prepare. And you can't just go bleh and go, because it just won't happen. It will sound terrible. So they need preparation.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally one of the biggest roles of the conductor, is starting everything off.
Wow.
So a lot of that's to do with, as a conductor, if you watch good conductors, they breathe very well to start. And if everyone breathes together, it's actually quite easy. Everyone breathes together and they go 3, play. So it's a lot in the preparation. And
amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, am I making that up in my mind? But how often you see a conductor who does go when they...
Probably not.
No?
The good ones really do that. And definitely the gesture will do that. Maybe you won't see a mouth open, but the hands go up and the preparation comes down, and it mirrors the action. Yeah. So that's the really bad. And then if people ask me this question, because you're not the first person to ask me this question, what do what do they really do? The other thing I would say is, once you're starting, I don't know how many music scores you've looked at. Some of them are very simple.
Yep.
Some of them are incredibly
really
complex. And okay, they're written in the part, but the players need help. And they can do things by themselves, but with a conductor who does it well, they do it more.
Yeah.
Everything becomes slightly more convincing, I would say is the word. The soft moments become softer and more delicate, and the loud stuff becomes... It won't just be loud, and it won't just be fast. It will have a certain conviction and a certain articulation that maybe wouldn't have been there otherwise. So it's a way of focusing a very 70 people's worth of output all at once.
Yeah,
It's a big organism or something. Yeah.
It's crazy. Now I want to race off and go and watch.
Yep.
Because I'm going to be like, I see what's happening there.
Yeah.
What's happening there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that feeling when it's all working?
When it's all working, it's great.
Have you experienced that a
lot? Yes. A couple of times really come to mind. Most of the time, the best feeling is after a long rehearsal period or a rehearsal period, and you get to the concert and things that are working start to happen in performance. And one of the old conductors of the Berlin Philharmonic, Claudio Abbado, he used to say his rehearsals were about opening lines of communication with the players, and then the concert's about using what you've established. And I kind of like that. Yeah. So the rehearsal is, you should be making music, but there's no audience. There's nobody listening. And then you get to the concert and everyone focuses a little bit more, and things start to happen. Together. And the lights are on, and, you know, the
showtime.
Yeah, basically. and that's great.
Yeah.
So a couple of times.
Okay, so now in my layman, I know this is just terrible, isn't it?
It's okay.
But I should have asked you to bring your baton. But
next time.
I have a chopstick.
Great.
Terrible. You have a hand and you have a baton.
Yep.
What's the difference? Tell me what you're doing.
First thing is, you don't always need one. By the way, I've demonstrated with a lot worse than a chopstick, so
excellent.
No problem.
It's a nice chopstick.
It is a nice chopstick. You can actually see it. And I wore black today in case this happened. So you can see the stick in front of a black shirt. That's why. Yeah. That's why, for me anyway, a lot of conductors wear black.
Okay.
First of all, is not everyone uses a stick. It's preference, and it depends on certain things.
Yep.
I like to think that there's a very practical element. The first thing is, if you move your hand this much and you want to make this much movement, kind of that to shoulder, if I do the same thing with the tip of the chopstick, actually my hand only moves half the distance, really, or something. It moves a lot less. So it's slightly longer, so you don't have to work as hard. If it's white, it's a lot easier to see sometimes, and if you're conducting a 3-hour long opera, it's very
all
important.
about energy.
Yeah. And then you get to more creative things, which I think is great. So if you're going for some sort of sharp articulation, and I'll try and do this, the sharp end of a baton is really good for sharp poking things. You know, you can bum, bum, da, da. Whereas this, you get a very different. I get that. If you look at it, it's hopefully it's a subtle thing in theory.
By the way, for any audience, you have to watch the video version of this to get what's going on here.
Yeah, this will sound a bit weird if you're not, but maybe I'll describe it a little bit better. So of course you can do smooth movements with a long pencil or chopstick or something.
But is that movement about the music and keeping the rhythm?
About the line of the music, if you were going for that. The rhythm should always hopefully be there, but if you're showing smooth things, that sends one subliminal message, and then the open hand or that sends something completely different. So it's just an extra...
Such a beautiful art, isn't it?
Yeah,
expression.
It can be.
Yeah.
It really can. And it's tied into your body, so everyone's different, and that's one of the really fascinating things about it. But it's just an extra little variation you can have. If you have two hands, of course, you can do similar things, but it's not quite the same as if you... Sorry, that's rolling. As if you've got an extra little,
Gotcha.
accessory.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the orchestra...
Yeah.
Am I looking at your face, your baton, or your hand, or
Hopefully.
am I trying to?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It depends on the piece, honestly. I mean, most of the time, yes is the short answer. Probably not all the time because there's a lot of notes, but you can always see out of the periphery or the corner of your eye or something going on.
Yeah.
And the more interesting things that you see, the more that the more interesting a conductor is with their gestures and their facial expressions, and the more convincing, the more an orchestra will focus in and
I think they'll respond.
Yeah, of course.
It's like that. It's the same thing as...
It's like anything. Yeah.
Whoever a teacher is or a leader is, if they're more exciting and dynamic, then you go, I'm into this. I'm into
It's exactly
this.
that. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I get that now. Now I'm going to run away and have a look at some videos. I'll be going, ooh, I might even check out that one of you. And what happens in terms of your ear of listening to everything if you hear someone who's slightly off, or is that where you use the stick?
No. Well, you can, but that's going to the psychology of humans, basically.
Yes.
I suppose. If you are an orchestra player and you made a mistake, you always know when you've made a mistake.
Yes.
And you see someone giving you the death stare and point, the reaction is going to be, and this is what I experienced as a kid, it's going to be a shrinking or something. Yes. It's going to make you want to play less. Exactly. So, whereas if you see nothing, they go, the conductor doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't. So in that scenario, if you hear something really bad in a concert, the best thing for me that I think, and as a player I'd want to see it, is some sort of reassurance.
Yes.
It's like
it's okay.
It's a smile. It's okay. Things happen, but we keep going.
Move along.
If that makes sense. So,
no. That's a much nicer way to confront it.
Yeah,
it is human behaviour, isn't it? Yeah.
And also, if it's happened, it's done. The only thing you can do is deal with the next thing going on. If you dwell on the past, you're way behind. Conductors have to think beats ahead.
You're living in the exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most common misconception about a conductor? Like, you must hear all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if the funniest one. We'll start with that. Is sometimes I say I'm a conductor and I'm studying conducting in Germany, and they go, "Don't you just get on the back of a bus or a back of a train or something?" And off you get. So the first one,
bus conductor, train conductor.
Yeah, and actually that's not so much a problem in Germany. That's a different question. They have a different word for it, of course. So the most common misconception. One misconception is that the conductor is the most important person.
Yeah.
That's a pretty common one.
Yes.
And it sure looks like that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy. Nothing happens till the conductor comes out. They get their own special clap and bow, and they take the applause at the end and this kind of thing. They don't make any sound though. That's it. And things could happen without a conductor.
Yes.
With basically, it would work.
Yeah.
Plenty of music forms happen with no conductor.
Well, you said that from many years ago, the way it used to work. And isn't it funny how things evolve and change, and now everybody goes, well, nothing would be happening if it wasn't for that guy. He's the rock star she's the rock star of the show, and pulling it all together. Yeah.
So definitely the conductor's job is one that you're intrinsically involved in everything.
Yes.
You can't avoid it.
Yeah.
But actually, it's not the most. No one person in any group is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's like I'd compare it most to the manager of a football team, if to use a sporting analogy, or a rugby, you feel their presence when they're there and they're good, and when they're bad, it's also not great. But if they're not there, things can happen. So it's a team. It's
always
thing.
A team effort. Yeah.
It's a one. There's no two teams in an orchestra performance. There's one team, and everyone has to work together. So that's a pretty strong misconception, I think. Yeah.
Actually, it really gives me appreciation, like even just what you've talked about. And I think, well, that'd be quite. I feel like it'd be quite nerve-wracking when you're not only have an orchestra of 70, 100 people, but then you have a huge hall, whatever, full of people who have paid tickets to come and have a look. I do keynote speeches and I stand on a stage, but all I have to control is me, and I'm in control. Whereas let alone 70 people, 100 people, trying to please an audience and everything else, it must that pressure.
Can be. I remember the first time I had a proper orchestra concert and I was getting a bit nervous, and then right before I was about to walk out, I remember this so clearly. It would have been like 7.5 years ago or something. But my overwhelming feeling was, this is fun. This is going to be great. And the best thing about being a conductor and not a violin soloist is that you don't face the audience, is that you turn around.
So this was my next question.
And your whole thing is you're just looking at your friends and your colleagues and that's it. And actually, half the job's already done. If you've got to the concert, you've done the rehearsals. All you have to do is keep going. You've done the hard work. So it's not like, I would say it's, for me, giving a keynote speech would be much more scary because it's all there in the moment. I'm sorry to say, but maybe this is just different backgrounds.
Different worlds, what you're used to.
If you know the music and you've rehearsed well, you get to the concert and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Having said that, one way that conductors get their big break is they jump in, it's called, to opera performances with no rehearsal.
Oh.
So they've never met the orchestra before. They maybe have met the singers once or twice, and they just have to go.
Oh.
And I haven't done it yet. It will be in the future.
Yeah.
And I am that's scary. And everyone who, has thought about it for more than 2 seconds should be scared by that. That's a bad one.
That's a big ask.
Yeah. That hasn't come from me yet. But that's
one day we're gonna hear that story. And tell me, how much creative license do you have over what you wear? Like, I mean, you're a pretty cool guy, and
thank you.
And compared to you see others who are quite stiff and they're very formal and they look, very prim and proper.
Sure.
Where's the creative license, and how far can you go without them going, actually, that's not what we're looking for?
Yeah, I think it depends where you are, quite apart from anything else. So I think in Vienna, if you didn't wear a tail to conduct, or Milan and you weren't dressed very well, that would be quite different. That's almost part of the culture there.
Yep.
In Auckland, New Zealand, or Wellington, the orchestras don't all play in tails anymore. Of course, this is what it used to be. It used to just be gentlemen with the tails, and it's evolved, of course, as it should. And now we see more just black and more mixes of uniform, if you like. It's a uniform, and it's important, I think, that the orchestra wears some sort of unifying thing.
Yeah, because otherwise it's distracting.
Yeah.
You're there for the music.
Sure is.
But as a conductor, you've got maybe a bit more license. So, of course, they used to always wear tails as well. For me, I actually find the white bit when I was playing, if you're sitting right in front of the conductor and they're using a white stick and they've got a white shirt behind them, you can't see it. You lose it, honestly. So I am very careful to only wear solid black, basically. And I've had I've got a couple of different levels. So for smaller concerts, I have a black kind of long sleeve dress shirt that's got quite a high collar. Yep.
And then for bigger performances, I've got it's kind of like a tail. It's got tailish things, but it also has a high collar that buttons up, and it's all black. So I had to get that made because I wasn't really happy with the normal tails. Didn't quite. Well,
you got to feel good too when you're up there and comfortable.
But it was okay. So the design bits were fun, but it came out of not wanting to make every adjustment possible to help the players, because I wouldn't want to play with someone conducting wearing a tail. So I said, well, how can I justify doing that myself? So that was where that came from.
Awesome. How do you see the role of orchestras and conductors changing in the digital age?
That's a great question. Yeah, wow.
I mean, there's so much.
There's a lot to unpack there. The first thing is I would say is the more digital resources we have, the better. I think just the more access we have to the Berlin Philharmonic, they have a fantastic digital library going back to I think even before the 80s, but the 80s to 90s are really, they've got amazing historical, they're basically artifacts now. It's a completely different time and everything's.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I think that's good. The problem is sometimes it's can be considered a good substitute for live music. And I'm just sorry to say that it isn't.
No.
Maybe if you're only looking for certain things, but it's like if we take the difference between watching a movie on your laptop at home, out of the laptop speakers, to sitting in a movie theatre and you've got the environment and there's much higher quality sound and much bigger, you're more immersed. And the atmosphere in a concert hall is very like that, maybe.
It is. It's beautiful and you feel it more.
Yes.
And I think that's a huge reason why, look how much money is spent on all sorts of concerts. People want to go live because of the atmosphere that you don't get by,
Exactly.
digital.
And there's nothing wrong with digital things, and it's good that things are accessible, but the feeling of electricity that you get in a live venue where everyone in the town hall, 2,000 people have to be quiet to hear the very, very soft pianissimo that's being played.
Actually, it's quite funny, isn't it? Because that's complete opposite to other, rock star, because of everybody's yelling, screaming, and it's just all noise, noise. Whereas your environment is, quiet.
Yeah. So
and it's all about the music.
So I think that's very important as well. And a lot of orchestras are now relying more and more. I think that even the National Symphony Orchestra in New Zealand has started a digital streaming platform.
Yes, they have.
And it's just that's a response to the times. It's one way to connect with an audience is people see stuff and then that's good, I'm going to go to a concert, maybe. And that's great.
And I worry too that as, we've got this big bubble of a boomer generation going through, that is classical music still going to be as popular and keep rising with just so much change going on?
Honestly, I think yes. I think this kind of thought that the audiences who go, they are predominantly a bit older. Myself and my sister, we were cutting the average age down significantly when we were going to concerts. But I think, people who go to concerts have a bit more money and a bit more time because and I just think the reality of that is it's going to be slightly older people. So I think it's always, the age has always been slightly older. I don't think in the 1830s it was only, everyone died a bit younger, but I don't think it was only kids going to concerts.
No, definitely not. And actually, talking of money, so I did a little Google.
Yeah.
Like, what do top conductors earn? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably going to mess up these names, but
Please.
Riccardo Muti?
Muti. Yep.
Chicago Symphony.
Yes.
$3.5 million a
year.
And
that's just a salary.
Yes, that's just the salary. And then they get all these other benefits and sponsorships and all sorts of stuff on top.
And that's only 1/4 of his gigs for the year. So he's music director there, but he'll be doing guest concerts in other orchestras as well.
Yeah.
So he's not there
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then there was Gustavo Dudamel.
Perfect.
Almost $3 million.
Yep.
Amazing. So there were 4 that just came out all around, 3.5, 3, 2.5. Just amazing.
It's large sums. That's for
I
sure.
had no idea.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Both those examples are in America, and they run it a little differently. Those big orchestras are mostly privately sponsored now, so it's a certain type of money that that
supports.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just a different way of doing it. In Germany, for example, where I studied, there's a lot more public funding, and conductors are still paid a lot, and more than New Zealand, I believe, in general.
Yes.
But more funding comes from other areas, so you get different prices.
Is that a dream for you, to make a lot of money out of conducting, or is it?
I mean,
some people are very driven by money, and it's like, well, I have a talent, so why not? Or is it that would be great, but I'm focusing on my passion and where it takes me?
I'm closer to the second one. The money it'd be great to make a living out of the thing that I love doing, of course.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of variations in there. I probably would be setting myself up for disappointment if I said it's $3.5 million a year or bust. Like, I won't be happy
in
for
5 years. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So no, that's money's not really been the driving factor. Yeah.
And so tell me, this year, more study. You have, I think you said 18 months left, or 20 months left?
Exactly.
Yep.
I have 3 more semesters of study left in Germany, so I will finish kind of mid-2026. And
is that study about music? Is it about conducting? What makes it up? And you just said you had to do an intensive German language course.
Not being born in Germany or Austria or Switzerland, my German is not super great.
Yeah.
I've been living there for just over a year and a half, and it's getting better, but I need to build it up as much as possible, basically, because it's one of the languages that conductors need to know for opera and for working in the country.
So German, and what is the other?
Italian is a big one.
Yes.
French, okay. English, definitely. Czech and Russian, but we come to those ones a bit later. But for German, so it's coming along. I've rehearsed twice in German. Rehearsed orchestras in German, which was really scary.
Yeah.
And okay, my grammar's not perfect, but
they got the gist.
They knew what I was asking, and that was a great feeling. So we're getting there, but yes, more German. The main components of the study and the most attractive thing about the school that I applied for, and actually all the schools I applied for, is the amount of podium time that the students get with professional orchestras.
Wow.
So we have a relatively high amount, and it's 4 times a semester, which may not sound like a lot, but there is a lot of preparation that goes into...
I can imagine.
Yeah. So we had a week in the Czech Republic, for example, was a 3-hour drive away, and we had a week where every day we would conduct the orchestra for half an hour, 45 minutes
Great
each.
Experience.
It was really great, and the progression over that week, which was right at the start of my studies, was
phenomenal.
Gigantic, yeah. And then 3 more times throughout the semester, I've had one sort of half-hour slot. And then we have lessons that involve learning new music, playing new music with the teacher or with pianos, or analysis of videos of these kind of slots with a professional orchestra.
Right.
And at the moment, I'm learning a lot of piano as well. This is kind of the German system. They train you to be able to go into an opera house and play operas at the piano to help the
So
singers.
it's really multi-dimensional.
There's a lot going on.
Like I imagine when you said I have another 20 months of study, I'm thinking, really? Just, standing there and learning this, that, and the other. But I get that. It's the all-encompassing side of it. So where would you like to be in 5 or 10 years' time?
5 years and 10 years are different questions.
Okay.
10, definitely back here. The dream has always been come back to New Zealand. Yes.
Even if you got offered some amazing job?
Maybe. I mean, a short period of time, I could probably do it over there. The winter's pretty rough. I'll be really honest.
How big's your passion?
Yeah, I know. That's the question. Maybe if something in Spain opened up, that would be good. No, I don't know. I'm just being silly.
Yeah.
The dream would be to work in Europe for a bit.
Yeah.
But honestly, the kind of niche that I fit the best is the New Zealand one.
Yes.
So I feel I can contribute most to somewhere where the classical music is underdeveloped compared to the talent that we have. So in Germany, I say they've got a lot of talent, but they've got a lot of opportunities. New Zealand, I think we've got really a lot of talent, but we don't have that many opportunities.
No.
And for example, there are absolutely world-class players coming out of New Zealand, but they stay in Europe. And part of that is just because there's not so many jobs in New Zealand.
So
but that will change over time, and that's kind of where I'm
You're
aiming.
setting your sights.
Yeah,
Come
the
back.
population grows, orchestras will get better, there'll be more orchestras probably, more opportunities. hopefully if theatres keep being restored, then, more performance venues equals more arts. That's basically, it's a pretty simple equation. So that's really exciting.
A big dream.
Yeah.
The bad news about that is you probably won't get to that, 2.8 million
Maybe not.
US.
But I honestly...
However, you could really be who you want to be here in that respect and really build yourself a personal brand.
It's not even just me thinking about this. He's a real up-and-comer opera singer, Penepati.
Oh, yes.
He's one of Solemia.
Because I know
Moses. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Penepati, and he said this on Instagram, so I can quote him. He's currently singing Rodolfo at the Bavarian State Opera, one of the best houses in the world. And he had a great quote that I loved, which he was saying something along the lines of, if everyone that he grew up around had the same opportunities as him in singing, we're talking, he wouldn't have made it because of how amazing the talent is with singing. And I completely agree with that. I think New Zealand has one of the best singing cultures and schools in the world. Just going overseas and seeing it, we're really doing really well.
That's really great to hear.
Yeah. That's just one example, of course. We're very good in other areas, but singing, we're really strong. So we've got a lot of potential. We just need a bit more audience and interest, and that's really something that I see myself getting involved in the future. I quite like teaching as well, teaching conducting. I've taught a few times, and that's really fun. So I don't quite know yet what it looks like.
Well, it's a long way away.
It sure is.
Yeah, we'll see where you end up. Do you remember a time in the last, 12 months or 18 months where you really felt that connection with, this is called the essence within you, about that essence within you and music?
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about it?
Of course. We're talking about what kind of drives me and what's inside. Yeah, okay. So in February last year, February the 5th or something, I just auditioned for the Royal Danish Academy of Music, and I went out in the first round. That was hard. It was the middle of winter, and it was dark, and didn't have anyone around.
It's hard. Yeah.
And it's just one of these things where you go, it just happens sometimes. You've got to pick yourself and keep going. And I wrote I had a notebook that I took with me overseas, and I wrote in it before I left all the kind of reasons why I was leaving and the motivations, because I knew that things were going to get a bit tough. And I basically was signing up to
really
at least a year of no conducting, apart from auditions, which is 10 minutes and then you're done. So I needed a bit of and I remember reading it going, okay, this is it. So it was like things like, I'm going to learn to get better, and then I'm going to bring the skills that I learned back to New Zealand, and I want to open up opportunities, and it's kind of, for me, what's inside was about connecting it to where things are going with music. And after a few days, I picked myself up and,
that's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here.
What I'm doing.
And I'm still here. And even if I do nothing else, I will have learnt a bit of German and I will have heard some amazing music. So this is good.
I'm all good.
This is all good.
Yeah. And it's amazing how you need that connection to your reason why and your purpose as part of your resilience, because that's what you keep going back to. Of okay, but this is what fills me up.
It's exactly that. I'm sure I would have figured it out without having written it in my book, but it was certainly something I knew. I've had a few of these kind of rejections. You get them in music. It happens. And the more prepared
we all get rejections in life.
Of course, and everyone does.
You got to grow from it. Well, you can choose to grow from it, or you can choose to.
And that's exactly that. You can choose to be, I'm done then. I'm not going to, be very justified in quitting if you get rejected. But
And look, in my world of business, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and as well, and I say you don't get, if it was that easy to become something great or really achieve your success and what you want, then everybody would be there.
Of course.
And it's about how you get through those hard bits and how you keep developing to get where you want to be.
Sure is.
And I think that's a big part that people forget. And I always, even my kids, they know that I always say to them and my clients, something hasn't worked out, something's hard, something's gone wrong, and you go, okay, feel it, but also go, what can I learn from it? What can I do from this? How can I grow? How can I use that to keep moving forward? And I think that philosophy in life is always good.
It's exactly that.
Even in, your really competitive environment of what you're doing, you're not always going to win.
Even with yourself, I mean, in a rehearsal of 2.5 hours, so many things go wrong all the time, and you can't throw the toys out of the pram every 2 minutes. Because...
And you can't keep beating yourself up, otherwise you'd just be like, I'm not showing up today.
No, you have to keep going, and don't make the same mistake too many times, but the more times you make mistakes, then you can learn something from it. So it's okay. Yeah.
And if there were any young aspiring conductors out there, what advice would you give them?
Start Duolingo earlier.
Duolingo.
Honestly, that was my thing. Even a basic understanding of a few things, could have done that. That would be the first thing.
In German.
German, Italian, but for me, I've been studying in Germany. But I remember being in university going, conducting's quite interesting. I quite like it, but I'd have to learn quite a lot of German and quite a lot of piano, and that's when I should have gone, okay, I'm just going to start making tiny little consistent steps upwards. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's probably it. Doing anything consistently in the right direction, if you give yourself enough time.
So true. I love that. I really love that message, because consistency is what gets you to where you want to go. Yeah.
And Rome wasn't built in a day, or whatever that's saying. It takes time, and starting early is okay. Try and have fun, but just a little bit. And if you're consistent, it comes. Everything happens. Yeah.
And to finish up this great conversation, when you leave this current world one day, whenever that is, who none of us know, what would you like to be remembered for?
Well,
well, let me tell you.
Yeah. Definitely something to do with opening up or broadening the musical community in New Zealand, whatever way or shape that is. That's the goal, the ultimate goal.
And I don't want to be. What do you mean by opening up?
Making more youth orchestras that people can play in, more opera, more something, bringing new experiences within music to New Zealand.
Which I think is a beautiful thing, because I know music is so good for the soul, isn't it?
Sure is.
And it doesn't matter what kind of music you listen to. Oh. It's and I always think about the connectivity of the energy of music, and we're mainly water and vibration and all of that, and how soothing it can be, how uplifting, how energizing, and everything else. That. So if you can teach children that at a younger age.
Not just children, adults as well. I mean,
well, that's true.
It's you get a few more barriers, a bit more resistance, maybe. I don't know, but absolutely everyone. Yeah. That's the dream.
And it would be great for more people to really tune into music, as opposed to it just being something in the background, to actually get something out of it, and
of course, the more the better. Yeah.
And that's awesome. So I have a little gift for you.
Oh wow!
And I give all my guests on the essence within you, and it's a little quartz heart. And it's been blessed in some beautiful fresh water down in the South Island.
Wow.
Out of a natural spring. And the reason that I do that is because you're so connected to heart, to music, to your passion of what you're doing, the essence within you. And so on those times where you might get rejected, or you stuff up, or you don't get where you want to be, you remember that and go, that's my connection
beautiful.
Point.
I will treasure that and keep it with me.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome.
So lovely to hear so much about you, and I think we'll get you back in a couple of years and see where you're at.
Sounds good.
And good luck with that German.
Thank you very much, Sue.
Thanks for tuning in to the show today. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like more of this, then subscribe to my channel, or click on the QR codes for more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to lead yourself stronger through life.